Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 10 tonight, where we give you more news in less time. I'm Mark Hanrahan. Let's get started. Low visibility, slick roads, and stuck drivers have been causing a mess since this morning.
I knew it was going to get cold and I knew it was going to snow, but not this bad.
People are getting stuck on those Spokane hills that we all know and love so much. Spokane was only expected to get about an inch of snow, but some areas saw about 4 times that amount. All right, you are taking a live look right now at the current road conditions. This is currently where Spokane City plows are working to clear the roads. The purple streets means they are working and monitoring those roads. And as you can see, that map is almost entirely in purple right now. And at least one school already delayed for tomorrow morning. The Liberty Lake School District rather, will be on a 2-hour delay because of road conditions. All before school activities have also been canceled. All right, let's take a look at our current forecast because it is still really cold outside. Meteorologist Thomas Patrick joining us in the Outdoor Weather Center tonight. And Thomas, with how cold it is tonight, any snow or ice on the ground right now, that's not going anywhere for your morning commute.
That's absolutely right, Mark. The snow is sticking around, but I can say this with certainty, no more snow is in our immediate forecast. But if your street didn't get plowed, it's still going to be snowy and icy through tomorrow morning with our temperatures being as cold as they are. But the big concern is our wind chills, because it's not just cold, it's just as windy outside. So we are under wind chill advisories from now through 10 a.m. Wednesday morning. So basically the next 2 nights, the next 2 mornings are going to be super cold outside. The wind chill, which is about how cold it feels like outside, a calculation between the temperature and the winds. And this is about the area on the chart that we're looking at, somewhere between about -5 to -20 in most areas across the inland northwest. So let's show you that, actually compare the possibility of frostbite time. So make sure the kids are well dressed and well prepared if they do have to be at the bus stop for tomorrow morning. There's tomorrow morning, again, about -10 for the feels like temperature first thing in the morning. Same story on Wednesday morning as well. You see Wallace and Kellogg at around -20. That's about the threshold where we think frostbite would be possible in about 30 minutes time. That would be exposed skin to the elements. So make sure that you are well prepared for this kind of cold. If it gets even colder than that, frostbite can certainly onset much quicker, but we're a bit closer to that 30 to 60 minute time frame. So again, wear gloves, mittens, hats, protect all the extremities of your body and your family's bodies, so that way you are prepared for this. This is all being caused by the wind. Some wind gusts upwards of 35 to 40 miles per hour, and it's biting out of the northeast. We'll show you how long these winds are going to be with us for and how long we'll stay below the freezing mark this week.
Sounds good, Thomas. My goodness, thank you very much. One quick clarification. It's a Liberty School District on a 2-hour day. Liberty, not Liberty Lake. My apologies. Okay, snow piling up in the mountain passes tonight. Here's a live look at Snoqualmie Pass, where several inches fell over the weekend. Right now, there are no restrictions for drivers in either directions. All right, looking at Stevens Pass, it's been hit hard. At least 20 inches of snow fell Saturday night into yesterday morning. WashDOT closed Highway 2 for avalanche control work. It is reopened now. Right now, there are no restrictions in place there either. The road is bare with wet snow, slush, and some ice in some places, so certainly be careful. Well, the combination of the new snow and bitter wind have led some to ask what the city is planning on doing to keep the homeless safe. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk has more on the city's plans. Kyle?
Well, it is dangerously cold outside tonight, and the wind is making those temperatures feel even colder. In response to this weather system, city spokesperson Brian Coddington said the city has worked to expand shelter bed capacity. Coddington says that the city has made 40 motel rooms available for those in need. According to the Guardians Foundation, beds have previously been made available at the Ramada Inn. Coddington said they aren't disclosing the location of these additional beds, which are meant to free up space at the Cannon Street shelter. Earlier today, a sign said the shelter was full, but we saw people boarding a bus from that shelter at that time. Coddington said right now there are not any plans to open an emergency warming center like the one we saw at the beginning of the year at the Spokane Convention Center, but he didn't rule out the possibility of another warming center.
It will not in that format. So we're looking at utilizing the existing spaces. We're looking at being able to maximize existing resources. We're also looking at extension of contracts. And we are looking at different ways to house people outside of the cold.
And even with the additional shelter beds, some people are out in the elements tonight. That includes the camp off I-90 near Freya. We asked Coddington if there will be more welfare checks done by police and fire crews.
During any type of inclement weather, police and fire do ramp up the welfare checks to make sure that people one, are okay, but two, have awareness of what resources are available to them to try to make that connection. Some days people are not ready, and other days people are ready to make that connection to go into a shelter space.
And according to Coddington, 14 additional beds for women needing shelter are being offered by the Union Gospel Mission. Coddington said the shelter run by the Salvation Army also has been providing 41 beds. That's helped capacity issues at other shelters. In the newsroom, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
Kyle, thank you very much. And stay on top of the weather with the KREM 2 mobile app. You can sign up to get severe weather alerts or just check on the forecast in your neighborhood. You can download the KREM 2 app in your phone's app store. Also, please join us tomorrow morning for Up with KREM, where we'll take a look at what you need to know before you head out tomorrow morning. All right, now to your night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. Today, Spokane County Sheriff Ozzie Knezovich held a press conference to explain why he said he fired a former deputy, Craig Chamberlain.
We tried to save him. There's no saving him. You can't save somebody from themselves. And that's what it came down to.
If he tried
Sheriff
to
Knezovich says it stemmed from a reference letter that Chamberlain wrote for a man charged with possession of child pornography. He also said he was not fired for writing that letter, but because he believes Chamberlain lied about the circumstances surrounding it. For his part, Chamberlain said he believes he's being fired for political reasons. Coming up in about 5 minutes, we'll hear more from the sheriff and from Chamberlain. Well, a month from today, Washington's indoor mask mandate will expire. That was the update from Governor Jay Inslee last week. He also announced the vaccine verification will end starting March 1st, almost a week from today. The governor said he made the decisions based on hospital projections from the State Department of Health.
It's tourism, it's lodging, it's mining, it's forestry, and those are all quirky industries. And for Mountain West to have local knowledge of our industries is going to be a very advantageous situation.
Well, just a few months ago, the city of Wallace, Idaho lost their one and only bank in their town, but just down the street sits the historic First National Bank of Wallace building, and it will be the home of a new bank in town later this spring. Coeur d'Alene-based Mountain West Bank announced earlier this month it is opening a new branch in the tiny historic town. And for many, going to the bank could be as easy as a walk down the street for residents of Wallace once again. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just text us the word night to 509-448-2000 and we'll send them directly to your phone. All right, now to look at national news right now, or international news site. There are signs that a Russia invasion of Ukraine could be imminent. Today, Russian President Vladimir Putin gave an order to have the Russian military conduct so-called peacekeeping operations. And that is raising fears that this is the first wave of a larger attack. Putin also decided to recognize 2 regions of eastern Ukraine as independent states. President Joe Biden says he will impose sanctions on anyone doing business in those republics in eastern Ukraine. A massive plume of ash was seen rising from Mount Etna in Italy. Mount Etna is Europe's tallest and most active volcano. Plumes of smoke as tall as 6 miles high could be seen over the sky of Sicily and surrounding villages. The volcano's activity and ash caused the shutting down of the nearby airport. And parts of the state's massive transportation bill were up for debate in Olympia today. The $16 billion package provides historic funding for preserving the state's infrastructure, addressing climate change, and expanding transit options. But across the border in Oregon and Idaho, state leaders are against the measure. Part of the proposal involves a tax on neighboring states that import fuel from Washington. Idaho Governor Brad Little and Attorney General Lawrence Wasden sent a letter to Governor Inslee asking to stop the fuel tax. According to Little's letter, the tax would hurt Washington's neighbors and will raise Idaho's gas prices by 6 cents a gallon. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time. Don't go to bed just yet. Coming up after the break, the Spokane County Sheriff spoke today about a recent firing of one of his deputies, the reasons he laid out for the firing, and why that deputy, who is now running for sheriff himself, believes that firing was politically motivated. We're back after a quick break.